Taking a live look outside our station, we are just waiting for the wind to die down, and we're going to have to unfortunately probably wait another couple of hours before it completely moves out of our area. And with daylight, we're also waiting to see how our neighborhoods and communities fared during that gnarly windstorm that moved through our area. We also want to take a look at how things are looking across the state. This is a live look through our CDOT cams from I-25, Idaho Springs to Louisville on the top right to I-70 in Genesee as well. We also know that parts of I-25 are closed right now north of Wellington because of those high winds. Here's a look at the current wind speeds right now across the state. The winds should be starting to slow down later today. We really appreciate you joining us. I'm Anusha Roy here along with Chris Bianchi. I think I overheard you saying we still have a couple of hours of this left, and some areas really got hammered overnight.
Yeah, I'm still a little worried that some places like Boulder and right up against the foothills, the worst of it is taking place as we speak. So some of you might be up right now because you keep hearing this wind.
Yeah.
I know it's been loud. I know it was loud in my house, and I'm in central Denver.
Yeah.
So for friends of the foothills, I know it's been a pretty rough evening for you. I do have some good news, though, to pass along, as we don't have that long to go. The worst of it will likely be this morning. Once we get to around 11 o'clock, noon or so, we will start to really calm down with those winds. That said, maybe a little bit of good news. South and east of downtown, the worst of the wind is probably over and done with. So the Palmer Divide, which didn't get hit that hard, airport, areas east of downtown, probably the worst of the wind over and done with at this point. Still some mountain snow showers for today as well. But of course, all eyes on this. The wind, high wind warning continues until noon. In the foothills, some localized areas could see those maximum gusts up to 95 miles an hour. We did actually see some of those 95-mile-an-hour wind gusts overnight. Table Mesa in Boulder at about 2 a.m. recorded a 95-mile-an-hour wind gust. So very, very impressive stuff, of course, in the worst of senses with this wind. That said, those winds right now, what you're seeing on your screen, probably not all that impressive, I suppose, compared to what we saw late last night, but I know we're still seeing some of those localized 80 to 90 mile an hour gusts at this hour. But as we head through the morning, again, notice by about mid-morning, the worst of the wind still Highway 93 corridor, west side of the metro area. It's still going to be rough for a few more hours there, but then even by about 2, 3 o'clock or so, those winds, even in those highest spots, Nederland, Boulder, Arvada, Golden, by then, again, we're still talking about 50, 60 mile an hour winds, but this is going to be much, much lighter compared to what we've been dealing with for the last 12 to 18 hours or so. And in central Denver, should be much calmer for us. So again, we do not have that long to go. That said, we still do have, unfortunately, some more of that nasty wind to go. Also, some high fire danger to boot. That'll run until 6 p.m. for tonight. So, of course, be smart out there for the rest of your day today. And for today, here in Denver, we'll top out at 58 degrees. That high temperature is basically worthless when you have 40-mile-an-hour winds, right? I mean, you know, doesn't really matter. But Anusha, I'll get into more detail about that forecast. And I'm also going to get into detail about what is causing this wind that's coming up in my full forecast.
All right. Lots of people who are probably awake earlier than expected on a Sunday because of that will appreciate that a lot. Thanks so much, Chris. Well, this morning, there are still about 150,000 Xcel customers without power. This is focused along the Front Range from the Denver metro area all the way into Fort Collins and Fort Morgan. We've also been hearing from a lot of you concerned about medical equipment, especially when Xcel shut off the power to 55,000 people in Boulder County and parts of Gilpin, Larimer, Douglas, Broomfield, and Jefferson counties. Those outages, they started yesterday afternoon. Xcel is saying expected to last until noon today. Xcel said they did this because of the high winds. They were trying to minimize fire danger. They also shared a map of those planned outage areas. After a lot of frustrated homeowners across the range were demanding more specifics, Xcel did reach out to a lot of customers directly ahead of time. People can track outages as they happen online, including any additional power outages beyond the planned ones like the ones we just mentioned. Well, fire crews, they are very much on high alert as they continue to deal with wildfires in the state. They are working right now to contain a wildfire near Highway 36 between Lyons and Estes Park. That fire is about 2 acres in size right now. Firefighters say wind is making it very hard to fight. They're trying to use a rocky terrain to slow that spread. CDOT says 36 is closed between Estes Park and Pinewood Springs in both directions because of that fire. Well, firefighters are also worried about the wind in Pueblo, especially because of the Vision Hills fire. Forced evacuations earlier in the weekend burned about 82 acres. At last check, that was about 80% contained. And the high winds could still be impacting your flights at the airport this morning. We're taking a live look at the FlightAware's misery map. So far this morning, only 24 delays and cancellations. That is great news because yesterday we saw a little over 300 flights delayed at one point. So just if you're headed out this morning, make sure you're checking your flights and stay as flexible as possible. And as you are waking up this morning, are you waking up to any damage or any issues? We would love a little bit of an insight into what's happening into our neighborhoods. Text us any pictures or videos at 303-871-1491. We will, of course, continue to follow the high wind all day today. You can stay up to date on the impacts and more information on power outages on our 9 News app. That is free to download in the Apple and Google Play stores. New overnight, in the middle of that storm, Denver Fire started getting calls of glass falling onto the street below in downtown. It happened near 14th and Arapahoe. Firefighters had to shut that area down temporarily, and they found out that it was actually broken patio furniture falling off of that high rise and then onto the street below. We are working to get more information on this, and we'll update you as we learn more. In other news this morning, 6 months into the war between Israel and Hamas, the House of Representatives is set to vote this week on a resolution that would support Israel's right to self-defense and oppose a ceasefire. Republican members have criticized President Biden in recent days because he's been critical of Israel's military strategy. The resolution is symbolic and would not change any current policy. However, it could put some Democrats in an awkward position, especially those critical of Israel's war that has claimed more than 30,000 Palestinian lives, including 13,000 children and 1,200 people killed in Israel. It is 6:07 on your Sunday morning. The Powerball jackpot has now been claimed. After last night's drawing, someone from Oregon won that $1.3 billion jackpot. Until this latest drawing, no one had won Powerball's top prize since New Year's Day. The billion-dollar prize ranks as the 8th biggest in the U.S. According to a new National Association of Realtors report, it shows that millennials made up 38% of home buyers last year, which is up 28% from the previous year. The data shows that nearly half of the older millennials are buying homes worth $300,000 or more. 42% of home buyers ages 32 to 41 paid $350,000 or more for a home in 2021. However, younger millennials are proving to be more frugal, with about 3/4 purchasing homes for less than $350,000. Millions of laundry detergent pods are being recalled this morning because of bad packaging. The recalled pods are Tide, Gain Flings, Ace, and Ariel pods that were made between September of 2023, February of this year. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety says that these pods can easily open up, and the insides, if ingested, could cause serious injury or even death.